Have you ever thought about inductors? Inductors have several applications in electronics, but one of my favorites is DC to DC converters, especially converting a very low positive voltage to a high negative voltage. In this video, I'll show you how an inductor can help us to create a negative voltage generator through a delicious mix of theory and practical experiments. After watching this video, you will understand how boost regulators work and why we need inductors and pulses in some switching regulators. Stick around till the end for some surprising twists. Inductors are used to store energy in the form of a magnetic field and release that energy when needed in the circuit, right? This definition is not very clear. Let me introduce inductors to you from my own point of view. After that, I'll show you how inductors enable us to increase voltage. Inductors are nothing but wire windings. This is a schematic symbol of an inductor, and these are real inductors. Look. Inductors have many parameters, but two of them are the most important to consider. First, the inductance, which is measured in Henry and symbolized by the uppercase letter L, for example, 1 microhenry, 10 microhenry, etc. And the second, the maximum current that the inductor can withstand, which is symbolized by the uppercase letter I and measured in amperes, like 1 ampere, 2 ampere, etc. This is an LCR method which is able to measure the inductance value of these inductors. Look. This inductor has inductance value of 1.2 microhenry and this inductor has inductance value of 9.8 microhenry. Even this simple wire winding has inductance. Look, it has an inductance value of about 0.4 microhenry. You may wonder if I say that even this piece of wire is actually an inductor and has inductance. However, its inductance is too low to be measured using instruments like this one. Some inductors have a core made of ferrite or iron which greatly increase their inductance. We can test it. It will be a really awesome experiment. The inductance value of this simple winding was 0.4 microhenry. Now I'm gonna use this steel rod. When I dip this steel rod into the winding, the inductance of the winding increases. Now it's 5.8 microhenry. Now it's 9.8 microhenry. And now it's 11.6 microhenry because this iron rod can get magnetized and help the inductor store more energy in the form of a magnetic field inside this steel rod. Inductors store energy like capacitors, but an inductor stores energy in a form of a magnetic field while a capacitor stores energy in a form of an electric field. Even though these definitions are correct, they are boring, right? Through these definitions away, I am going to give you better definitions. A capacitor tries to keep the voltage at a point in a circuit constant, and an inductor tries to keep the current passing through it constant. Or in another word, a capacitor resists voltage change across itself, and an inductor resists the current change passing through itself. These definitions will make understanding these components easier. Inductors like this one resist changes in the current passing through them. So, if you close the switch at the first moment, the current flowing through this inductor will be zero because the current flowing through this inductor was zero before closing the switch. This means the impedance of this inductor is infinite at the first moment. Actually, this inductor is an open circuit at the first moment. Over time, the current will flow through this inductor and gradually increase. Remember, we are talking about micro or even nanoseconds. After a certain amount of time, the impedance of this inductor will approach zero. At this moment, this inductor is a short circuit, so the amount of current flowing through this inductor will reach 12 amperes. There was nothing special so far. It was the natural behavior of inductors. Now, answer this question. how can we use this feature of inductors to boost voltages? Inductors have the ability to resist current changes, and this feature helps us use them in a voltage booster circuit. Just think about the moment you open the switch. Suppose the switch is closed and now this inductor is fully charged and is a short circuit. So this resistor is out of the circuit due to the short circuit here. I mean, we can ignore this resistor and the current flowing through this inductor is 12 amperes. Now, if you suddenly open the switch, this inductor will try to resist the change in the current amount flowing through it. So, at the first moment after opening the switch, the current flowing through this inductor will remain 12 amperes. This 12 ampere current has no way to pass except through this 10 ohm resistor, like this. By applying simple Ohm's law, we can see that at the moment after opening the switch, the voltage across this resistor will be 120 volts, which is 10 times higher than 12-volt battery running the circuit. Wasn't that interesting? It was fascinating, right? So, it's worth liking the video, right? Thank you. Anyway, this is how an inductor helps us create voltages higher than the source voltage. However, over time, the current flowing through the inductor will gradually decrease, but we can use a diode and a capacitor to save the high voltage. Now we have a variable voltage here that starts from 120 volts and gradually decreases until it reaches zero because the inductor's current is decreasing. Actually, the energy saved in this inductor will be dissipated in this resistor. We can add a capacitor here to save the voltage, but if you connect the capacitor directly in parallel with this resistor, as the voltage across this resistor decreases, the voltage across the capacitor will decrease too. So we need to add a diode somewhere here to allow the voltage to charge the capacitor but prevent the capacitor from discharging through this resistor. I'm gonna set up this circuit and test it. Look, when I press and release the button, the voltage at the capacitor increases. Now the voltage across the capacitor is 15 volts, 40 volts, which is 5 times higher than the 3-volt input voltage. If I press and release the button rapidly, I can achieve even more voltage. Look, now the voltage across the capacitor is 32, 29, 35, 36, 38 volts. I can't press and release the button faster than what you saw because I am human and my body has limitations. But an electronic switch can do it thousands of times faster than me. So why not to use an electronic switch to test the circuit? I'm gonna use a transistor instead of this switch. If you look attentively, the switch is on the high side of the power supply. It's here, not here. So it's better to use a PNP type or P-channel transistor. In this experiment, I'm gonna use A1015, which is a PNP type BJT. In this circuit, we need an oscillator to turn this transistor on and off at a specific frequency. Here, I'm going to use my function generator to generate switching pulses, and I will apply switching pulses to point A. Look at these numbers. Now the input voltage is 1.2 volts and the output voltage is 81 volts. This is really awesome. By the way, the frequency of pulses can greatly impact the output voltage. Now the frequency of pulses is 5 kilohertz. It was very easy to make a negative 80 volts out of 0.5 volts, right? This is why I love electronics, because of these amazing components and experiments. You have seen one of the beauties of electronics in this video, where an inductor wins an Oscar for the leading role. Anyway, we have reached the final moments of this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.